Mr. Heavyweight Boxing Today.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Chris the Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mr. Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Alright, so seeing this article on BoxingScene.com, and I've heard Lennox Lewis say this before, so it's kind of just, I guess it was just brought up again in the interview, but Lennox Lewis stresses Anthony Joshua must fight in America, okay? And I've actually heard Joshua come out and say that he doesn't feel as if he needs to travel here to the U.S. and fight. Let me just read what Lennox has to say. And this is courtesy of The Sun. Okay, this is where this article, or where he did the interview. It says, "For me, I believe that if you're world champion, you should fight around the world. It builds you as a fighter and as a person. You can have a good following in Britain, but then you go to America and no one knows you. So you have to build a following there too. It's important to fight in other places. It's a historic thing. Muhammad Ali fought in Africa. So my aim was always to fight in Africa too, which I did," Lewis said to The Sun. "Now, anywhere and everywhere I go, I still get fans coming up to me. In the beginning, when I started boxing over in America, I used to get booed because I was the Brit coming over to their country. But when I won over there, they said, fine, he's an okay Brit. He boxes well. They accepted me as a good fighter." Let me just speak on that really quick, because a lot of fans from the UK, not all, okay, it's not all of you, but a large portion of people, they come to my channel, and for whatever reason, they make, without even really like listening to my channel or my videos, because for those of you that have really been following me, you know that I hold Lennox Lewis in my top 10, top 7 heavyweights of all time. It's just, you know, wherever you want to rank them. Some people might not have him there. So I always respected Lennox, even when he, you know, in the 90s when he was coming up. Now, when he first came over, when he first came over, you know, I really didn't know too much of him. You know, especially here in the U.S. Man, I get to see him on HBO, but I didn't get to see a lot of his fights when he was coming up. You know what I mean? So, and when he was in the Olympics, I was a child then. You know, so as he came over here and he started knocking off some of the, you know, best fighters here that we had, then you start to gain that respect for Lennox. So it's a little bit different, being that Joshua is a guy that, you know, was able to knock off Klitschko in 19 fights. So it's a little bit different, and Joshua's in a position right now where he's a unified champion. And right now in Britain, they're having their, you know, a breakthrough out there, especially, I'm talking about just the heavyweight division. So the last, what, 2 years, not even a full 2 years, because Fury beat Klitschko November of 2015. So when it reaches November this year, it'll be 2 years. The last 2 years they've had their, you know, it's been hot out there with Fury, you know, his victory. Then you got Joshua came along. Even Dillian White Chisora had a great fight. Tony Bellew, who's a cruiserweight, ended up beating David Haye. I know David Haye moved up from cruiser, but I'm just saying a lot of exciting things been going on out there. But one thing we can't do though, man, we can't sit here and try to erase decades and decades and decades and decades of, you know, fighting around the world, coming over to America, and just fighting in different places just because of the last, you know, 18 months or however many months it's been, 20 months. We can't do that, man. And that's what I think a lot of the UK fans try to do, is if like all those other years don't count, all those other decades of years don't count, let's just focus on these last 18 months. And that's just not, to me, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? So I understand where Lennox is coming from, and I do like when these guys travel, whether it's a USA dude traveling or UK guy traveling. I want to see these guys, and not just traveling for little preliminary fights and, you know, when you're coming up. I'm talking about making big mega fights. That's why I don't mind if Anthony Joshua comes over here and fights at the MGM or fight at the Barclays, or if Deontay Wilder goes out there and fights at the O2. I'm for all of it. I think it's great, and I think that we're in a time and day, we always, you know, as people, we like to say that things are changing and they're advanced and it's the new age. Well, let's start doing some new age shit, or kind of old school stuff, but let's implement it into this new age way of thinking, and let's get all these guys traveling. Not just, hey, I'm the king over here, you have to come to me. I've heard Joshua all the time talk about the greats. Vladimir Klitschko's a guy who he looks up to. Ali, Tyson, all the greats. All those guys traveled. Tyson went to Tokyo a few times, and then even he fought, who's the guy he fought in the UK? Julius Francis fought, you know, so all these guys travel, man, or have traveled. You know, so I agree with Lennox Lewis. And this is somebody that's been there and done that. He's been where Joshua is as far as being the man or shit. He was even, to me, at a higher level than Joshua, where he distanced himself from the rest of the other contenders because he was fighting majority of all the guys that were coming up. There's still some fights there for Joshua to take. Whether you think he'll win them anyways, as far as the Wilder fights and the other fights that are on the horizon, he still has to take them. And let's, get some of those fights here in America, because this is a world sport. You know what I mean? So I would love to see, as a fan, I would love to see Joshua fight over here, man. So, but I understand right now it's buzzing over there. A lot of the UK fans feel as if, hey, this isn't the 80s and 90s. It's different now. It's like, calm down, man. It's only been not even a full 2 years. All right, some people act like it's been 22 years that this been going on. Nah, man. Even Vladimir was coming over to the MGM Grand, and did he fight in Atlantic City a few times? Or not the MGM Grand, I'm sorry, but Madison Square Garden. He fought Brian Jennings just recently there. What was it, 2015, the first quarter of 2015. So I think these guys should be traveling, man. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm out.